I baptize thee, Catherine, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
No one who had ever seen Kάθριν Μόρλαντ in her infancy would have supposed her born to be a heroine. Her situation in life, the character of her father and mother, and her own person and disposition were all equally against her. A family of 10 children, of course, will always be called a fine family, where there are heads and arms and legs enough for the number. But the Mórlands were in general very plain, and Catherine, for many years of her life, as plain as any. Neither was it very wonderful that Catherine, who had by nature nothing heroic about her, should prefer cricket and baseball to dolls and books. But by the age of 15, appearances were mending. Kάθριν Mόρλαντ was in training for a heroine.
Look, Aunt Catherine has turned out rather well.
Come on, Catherine, let's carry on. No, later.
She's quite a good-looking girl. But she's almost pretty today.
And she's grown very fond of reading of late. I wonder if it can be good for her, my dear, to read quite so many novels.
Oh, why ever not? Now, what could be a more innocent or harmless pastime for a young girl than reading?
He was interrupted by a noise in the passage leading to the room. It approached. The door was unlocked. A man entered, forcibly dragging behind him a beautiful girl, her features bathed in tears and suffering the utmost distress.
Take her! Convey her where I shall never see her more.
Kathy? What are you doing?
Nothing. What do you want, anyway?
Mr. and Mrs. Άλεν are here. Mother says you have to come straight away.
No, said Dr. Mallison. No other place will do so well for a gouty constitution like Mr. Allen's.
No other place will do so well for squandering money.
Oh, fine, Mr. Allen. You know you love to see me happy. And thinking of that...
Well, Catherine is young to go, but, well, Mr. and Mrs. Άλεν for protection. I see no danger in it.
She's a good girl. I think we can trust her. Why, Catherine, how you've grown. Quite the young lady, isn't she, Mr. Allen? Mr. and Mrs. Άλlen come with an invitation, Catherine. We would like you to accompany us to Bath for a time.
For when a young lady is to be a heroine, something must and will happen to throw adventure in her way.
A tumult of emotions stirred in the bosom of Adeline, and fear gripped her heart, that at any moment ruffians would fly upon the carriage and return her to the ignominy of her captive state.
Thank God, Mrs. Άλεν. Not long now.
Smartest to dress, but for myself, I love to be at the centre of things.
So do I.
There's a little peach that's ripe for plucking.
So many people. I wonder who they can be and what their stories are.
Hardly worth knowing, I should say. if they choose to roam the streets, and they could be sitting at home by a good fire.
Oh, Mr. Άλεν is so droll. He always says the opposite of what he means, for he loves good company.
When shall we go into society, Mrs. Άλεν? I suppose it is too late this evening.
Bless you, my child, we neither of us have a stitch to wear.
I did bring my best frock, and my pink muslin is not too bad, I think.
No. Would you have us laughed out of Bath?
Resign yourself, Catherine. Shops must be visited. Money must be spent. Do you think you could bear it?
Very easily, sir.
There. Did you ever see anything prettier, Mr. Άλεν?
Other than yourself, do you mean, my dear?
Oh, fine, Mr. Άλlen. But Catherine...
She looks just as she should. Now, might we make our way, do you think? I entertain high hopes of our arriving at the rooms by midnight.
How he teases us, Catherine. Midnight, indeed.
Whoa there.
Good evening, sir. This way. Why don't you go now, sir? This way, ladies.
Sedley! There you are. Is there anyone here?
Well, not a soul, John. There's no one here at all.
What could he mean? If I might just... Thank you.
Excuse me.
Card room, I think.
Mr. Άλlen!
See you later, my love.
Come this way, Catherine.
Pardon me, miss.
Excuse me. Perhaps we should go through to the tea room. Quick, there are two places.
How comfortable it is not to know anybody.
Yes, my dear. Very uncomfortable indeed. Then you see, one can't speak to people unless one has been introduced.
But who will introduce us?
I'm sure I've no idea.
Had we not better go away? There are no tea things for us, and I think we are welcome here.
Yes, it's most disagreeable. I wish we had a large acquaintance here.
I wish we had any. Mrs. Άλεν.
Have a care, sir.
1,000 apologies, Mum.
Catherine, do take this pin out of my sleeve. It was not your fault, sir.
Allow me.
Thank you kindly, sir. Though I'm afraid it's torn a hole already.
There. Nothing too disastrous, Mum.
I shall be sorry if it has, for it's a favourite gown.
Really, Mrs. Άλlen, one would hardly notice.
No, it cost but 9 shillings a yard.
9 shillings. That is exactly what I should have guessed.
Do you understand muslins, sir?
I understand them very well. My sister has often entrusted me in the choice of a gown. I bought one for her only the other day. 5 shillings a yard, and a true Indian muslin. What do you make of that?
Well, and I can never get Mr. Άλlen to tell one of my gowns from another. But tell me, sir, what do you think of Miss Morland's gown?
Miss Morland's gown? Miss Morland's gown is very pretty. Though I don't think it'll wash well. I'm afraid it will fray.
How
can you be so...
Presumptuous. Indeed, without so much as an introduction. You must allow me to make amends, Mrs. Allen.